What's up guys? This video is mostly just to amend a statement I made in a previous video, which was basically that I thought Fortnite still being in early access is a complete joke. This is one of the most polished games I've ever played, to be honest. Of course, like everything digital ever, it has bugs, but the overall polish of this title is top notch. It may come as a surprise, but I primarily play on a laptop, and there has not been a time in my Fortnite playing that I haven't been able to get at least 200 FPS. But all of that aside, it turns out there's an actual reason Fortnite has stayed in early access for over a year and probably never will leave early access. So let's take a look at that. Now, if you dig around on this topic, most people kicking around the conversation in forums seem to be convinced that it is directly related to money. They all have an elaborate idea of how staying in early access is Epic's evil scheme to suck all their wallets dry. And honestly, I hope that's true. I mean, that's what a business should do. A lot of people seem to think everyone will stop spending money on the game if it full releases, like people are willing to put up with more bugs, broken mechanics, and invest in the game because there's continual hope of a better state down the road, a complete state. And that's a legitimate thought. However, an elaborate money scheme is not the sole reason. It might be an indirect result, but there's a different and very important reason it is still in early access. A reason that allows them to jump through hoops and cheat the system. Now, real quick, I'm going to give a brief overview of Fortnite's content release schedule for those that don't play the game or maybe do play it but don't realize the magnitude of their update schedule. This game updates their item shop with new cosmetics every 24 hours. Every once in a while, with a major content release, they add an additional new skin or promotional skin outside of that 24-hour shop refresh. That's just the basic 24-hour items, in which there's often many repeats, along with like one new emote or common skin. They also update the left side of the shop frequently with all new skin sets and now bundle deals too, and that usually updates every 48 hours, sometimes a little longer and sometimes less at 24 hours. Now also they have daily challenges, which you get a new one every 24 hours along with the item shop refresh, and on top of both of those things you have the battle pass, which is massive and brand new every 10 weeks with 100 tiers of content to unlock and 70 unique challenges that unlock weekly and often lead to more content being added in the game, like the shooting galleries, treasure maps, and so on, that make way for even more challenges and unlocks like the different tiers of the Calamity or Dire Wolf skin. That's all the basic stuff. With the release of each season, you'll have massive map changes like the Crater or the Desert added in Season 5 or the Corrupt Zones and Floating Island in Season 6. And those map changes are not limited to the start of the season because the map continues to change throughout the season, like with the cube that rolled around the map, destroying part of Tilted Towers, melting into the lake, transforming the lake, and then creating a floating island that moved around the map in real time throughout the span of a couple weeks, lifting up other floating islands before eventually exploding, and for the first time that I've ever seen, add a brand new major POI mid-game, which by the way, we now have a distant storm cloud or fog in the distance moving slowly towards the island for Season 7. In addition to all that, map changes and live events, they add a new item literally weekly with a bunch of balancing changes or fixes. They've added the heavy sniper, 6-shooter, quad launcher, quad crasher, balloons, dynamite. The list could go on forever. I mean, seriously, brand new weapon or utility item weekly, along with regular rotated or brand new event modes from Disco Domination to Soaring 50s to Food Fight, and my personal favorite, the Wild West. Then they have even crazier stuff like the Zombie or Husk event for Halloween, the different daily tournaments, but you get the idea. This game has the craziest content release schedule I've ever seen. And I know not everything I mentioned requires a patch or downtime. A lot of it is patched in with one big update and then slowly released over a few weeks. Regardless, they push out an insane amount of content. Okay, so what does all that have to do with the topic of early access? Well, for once, I can genuinely blame something on consoles, which as a PC Master Race gamer is always a dream come true. You see, Epic has found a loophole to be able to push this new content out at such a fast pace, and that loophole is by remaining in early access. See, on consoles, everything runs through the PSN or Xbox/Microsoft Store, unlike PC where Epic is free to have their own interface, the Epic Games Launcher, and they can just do everything through that. But Xbox and PSN require certification testing for new patches, which can often take a few days, and on top of that, there's a possibility that the update would be denied, require reworking, and then resubmission to start the certification test all over again. There's a lot of different reasons for them to do this. If an official game sold on the Xbox or PlayStation breaks, implements game-breaking optimization, changes significantly from what it's advertised as, it can reflect poorly on the seller's integrity, Xbox or PlayStation. I'm sure they want to keep their reviews on products or games they sell positive, the overall experience on their platform positive, and on top of that, they likely have to deal with any financial fallout due to a horrible game update. So probably for those reasons and more, they have that certification process. Much like Apple has a strict and sometimes time-consuming certification process for their App Store. Poorly optimized software would reflect badly on their device as a whole. Now, the way Epic cheats around that certification process is by declaring their game to be an early access title, which has many less checks and balances for updates. You're basically free to do whatever you want and work on your game in development as you please. This is especially crucial for Fortnite, not only because they update so often, but because it is available literally on every device: PC, Mac, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, iPhone, iPad, Android, you name it. And it is 100% crossplay compatible, so I can play on my PC in a squad with a PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch user if I want. And we can play against other mixed devices in the same server. That means this game has to remain the same content-wise across all platforms at all times. It has to be completely in sync with each update, unlike games like PUBG, which may have crossplay in the future, but in the meantime is an entirely different game on Xbox versus mobile version versus the PC version. They all have different development timelines and content updates. By the way, some people say Fortnite on Xbox is not early access or beta because it is not listed under that category. However, when you read the description for the game, it clearly states this is an early access title. Likely, Xbox knows the value of this game to them and did that for marketing reasons. Placed it in a category that would get it more exposure or downloads or something like that. Anyway, that's the answer to the out-of-place early access label on the loading screen. Likely, the only reason they would leave early access is if A, terms on the console change to close this exploit, which I doubt will happen, or I suppose it could go the other way and they could implement a faster update process for fully released titles, or B, Epic eventually settles into a groove with less frequent updates or less need for last minute patches, or are able to work far in advance with patches. But that wouldn't be good for them with the amount of people that leak future content from each patch. Or C, they decide it's the right move marketing wise to do a full release. I know PUBG hit its all-time high player count when it came out of early access and released 1.0, but I'm not sure an official launch would provide Fortnite with much additional hype at this point. That's the full scoop. Epic is a smart company with lots of data to make decisions based off of, so it's possible they have a lot of other sneaky reasons for doing what they're doing. This seems to be the most likely though, given the circumstances. Let me know what you think about all the content they push out in the comments. Do you think it is a good thing and has overall helped the game, or do you think it's too much and too quick? I have a video in the works about that topic, but would love to get your guys' feedback to include. If you enjoyed this video, be sure and do something, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Oh, you're fighting? Whoops, sorry about that. Ugh.